Hello YouTube and welcome to part 4 of my jet ski update video. In part 1 I believe it was, you can remember me saying something like some water lines that don't really make any sense, and is that fiberglass damage? Turns out that when I bought the jet ski I overlooked a few things, and the paint flaking off the front of it was actually a little more serious than I thought. The hull has been recoated at some point. Once I removed the engine and started looking around in the hull, it became fairly obvious that this jet ski has had some work done to it. I'm afraid to find out what's under here, but the previous owners did some real slick fiberglass work. And so eventually I'll have to redo it a little, but it's not really stuck to anything. The only thing really holding it on is the pisser. Okay, so I removed that, the nut rather. I don't see any damage behind here yet. Maybe there's some up here. Kind of concerns me that it's dripping up here. Probably means that there's damage up here. I think it's about to pop off. Trying to get it all off in one piece. Okay. So, I'm not very good with fiberglass, but I think that means that I likely have to take out all this repair work that they did, because yeah, the stuff that they did isn't even bonding, so why bother having it there? Remember kids, when you're using Bondo to do laminating structural repair, always make sure that there's no air pockets or voids. There's a whole bunch of repair work on the front of this thing all the way back to here. This piece was going up over this brace or whatever you call it, and it was just able to peel off. This stuff is peeling up pretty easily. I broke this piece free and it's gonna come out in one piece. Kind of curious to see what's under here, so I thought I'd record it so you get to see it at the same time as I do. What the heck? They hit something pretty substantial. So it cracked all the way up here and then back to here. That was quite the patch job. All along this side, from the front to the back, I peeled off a whole bunch of Bondo with a small amount of glass reinforcement, and came across a few cracks, but mostly just grooves that they had cut to make the Bondo stick. This isn't the way you're supposed to do stuff. You're supposed to sand it down really well with a fairly coarse sandpaper and then clean it off really well with acetone. By the time it was all said and done, I ended up removing over 3 pounds of fiberglass material that wasn't really doing anything. I'm in the middle of doing some fiberglass repair, but I had to order some epoxy and get some other materials. This is my impeller, and I have a question for anybody out there who can help me. This is a Scat Track 6. It's supposed to be a straight 16. And I've noticed there's these little marks right at the tips of the blades. Seems to me like that would be a bad idea. If you were going to change the angle, I would think it would want to be gradual. I rode the jet ski once, it seemed to work fine. Is this something that they used to do in the 90s? Or is this something that you do as a quick fix to change your angle? Let me know. If we take a look at the end of the shaft here, it engages with the spline on the impeller like so. And you can see there's a fairly abrupt shoulder. The engine turns this shaft and the water comes into the pump through here and then gets pushed out of the back. And so what I did is I took a piece of Delrin and I turned it down and made a nice transition bushing like that. And so now it's almost a perfect fit. I'll post a couple of pictures so you get a better idea of the fitment. If you watched part 3 of my jet ski update, then you've seen these parts finished. But this is when I was actually prepping them and doing the powder coating on them. We've got the upper and lower crankcase, the intake manifold, and the pump, the starter, and the exhaust, which I had a weird issue with the color. I put a second coat on it, I think even a third coat, and it ended up turning out perfect. I realized in my last video that I actually didn't show you guys a couple of pieces that I had finished, so I'll do that now. In my little parts bucket down here, we have the ride plate, which I didn't show you, and over here we have the water box, which is buried under some stuff. So those two pieces were finished at the same time that the head and the crankcases were, but I just forgot about them. Alright, that's going to do it for video update number 4. Video update number 5 is going to have a lot more video footage. I've already filmed most of it, and it's going to be fiberglass repair. Although I have next to no fiberglass repair experience, I've watched a lot of videos, I've read a lot of material, and the repairs that I have done so far have turned out excellent. So get ready for that. It should be coming out soon. A few people seem to be quite interested in the last update video that I did, where I did some powder coating. So I decided to do another powder coating video. This one's going to be a little bit strange as well, and I'm going to be testing the durability and strength of powder coat. That's all that I'm going to say about it right now. The process is taking quite a while, but the video should be out soon, so keep an eye out for that. That's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. I made this tapered arbor to mount it on in the lathe so I could turn the flywheel down accurately and safely. I have a flywheel for my jet ski. Okay, so I've sprayed it down with some WD-40 and wiped it around. Let's see. I'm gonna try to go about this in some sort of controlled manner.